Welcome, everybody. This is video 3 of our 4-part training series. And today I want to know that, if you're out there and you're listening either live or on the recording, I want to know, do you ever get ghosted at interviews? Do you ever realize how it can have a direct impact and how quickly, excited you can get about all these interviews that you have, and then all of a sudden it just comes crashing down and you just feel horrible. Like you can't move people through the hiring process fast enough that you actually get them excited and stay excited, right? Well, today we're going to try to help solve that problem a little bit for you. Of course, we can't absolutely predict people's behavior. I've got my good friend Jen Kurtz here today with Jazz HR. She is also a client success specialist. I think I said that right. And today we're going to talk all about how to get people through the hiring funnel fast, because the faster that we can actually get people through the dog walking, pet sitting hiring funnel, or honestly, any hiring funnel for that matter. This works in all industries, you guys, the better. The biggest thing that we have going on right now, it's June 2020, and we are dealing with a 13% federal unemployment rate, okay? We are dealing with, in the next month, a lot of people coming off of that extra 600 weekly federal dollars that they're getting. We also have people right now that have to keep looking like they're applying for jobs or whatnot. And we've got people that are scared and thinking that they need to get a job, but they really don't. Like, there's just a lot of confusion and volatility, okay? And so right now is really the time for you to perfect your entire process so that with the click of a button, you can have it all set up and streamlined, and you don't even have to think about it all the time. Doesn't that sound great? I'm excited. Jen, you've got a lot of really cool things for us today. So why don't we start off first with automating emails through the phases, what that looks like. And even before we get into that, why don't you also introduce your friend that we have with us today?
So as you could see, I could definitely use a pet sitter right now, even though I am working from home, because my senior cat, his name is London. He's 14. He wants to be on my lap and in my world right now, even though he was upstairs all day today. So as you can see, right, we all need a little bit of help in the pet sitting world. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you, and we're gonna hop on in here and show you how great we can automate a lot of these tools here in Jazz HR. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So first thing I want to start with automation is, of course, talking about your templates. In Jazz HR, you have the ability to create email templates. This is really helpful because you should put together the type of communication you're sending out to your candidates often, so you don't have to manually type that all the time. Mm-hmm. So you'll notice here we have templates built in that come with your account, and you have the ability to create additional templates as you'd like. So for instance, I have this particular email invitation. It's actually an invitation to phone screen. It's kind of a 2-for-1 punch here. I'm actually going to attach this to one of my workflow stages. I'm going to tell you what that means here in just a moment. But I'm also going to allow the candidate to self-schedule. So I'm actually going to have a little bit of automation in 2 different ways, both the email itself and the candidate actually scheduling this event with us today. So having that said about email templates, would you like me, Bella, to jump into workflows and kind of talk about what that means and some ways to automate some of these steps?
Yeah, that would be amazing, because I think the problem that this is solving, right, is that when we get an applicant, right, what happens? Like, it comes into our email typically, right? And we're in the middle of doing something. We're on the phone with a client, we're talking to one of our employees, where maybe we're just feeding our kids lunch or something, like we're doing something, and this comes in and we're like, oh shoot, we have to get back to him right away. Or it's now taking up headspace because we have to remember to sit down and write them back and say something, and oh wait, I have to go get that link and drop that link in. I'm following you correctly here, right?
Yes, that's absolutely right. And notice when I make this email template, this is just a very, very simple version, but notice how we're using what we call tokens. These operate like merge fields. So I can pull in information that's going to be specific to the candidate. It's going to come across being personalized without me typing it. It's going to, for instance, throw in the applicant first name here. It's going to throw in the very same job title that they applied to here. And it's going to look like I typed that, but I'm not going to at all.
That's beautiful. And so just to be clear too, so all of these business owners are the ones that actually are creating the phases, is that right?
That's correct. So where we create this is in our settings and in our workflows, and you get to define what your hiring process looks like.
Uh-huh.
So this is what mine looks like. If I were moving my candidates forward, we might have a resume screen here where we send a
Mhm.
candidate a questionnaire. These are some automated items we're looking at on this particular stage. We're also going to talk about some more tools, but you might be incorporating video interviewing. If so, I've created a stage for that. I have
Mhm.
a stage for interview here, in which case I'm allowing candidates to self-schedule on my calendar from my availability on this stage. Maybe I want to send them a personality assessment. I've built that stage here into my workflows, and all the way down through maybe extending an offer, sending for a background check. All of these are different items that can be integrated into Jazz HR if you are a subscriber to those different services. And ultimately, you can even send a candidate to your HRIS if you are using an HRIS or a payroll system once you make your hires from Jazz HR. And then, of course,
Okay.
on the flip side, if you need to gently send a little rejection letter to candidates, you can automate that process too. And you can choose what type of template you would like to go out to the candidate based on the reason that you've decided that you're not hiring them and what you choose here in your ATS. So, what we're looking at right here is a customized workflow. And again, this is something that you can do. You can have it mirrored to your process, and
Mhm.
then you can automate the different action items at each stage as you so choose.
That's awesome. So essentially what this is doing is it's that busy mom that I was just telling you about, or maybe that pet sitter that's like, a road warrior that is just like going from house to house to house to house. And there's all these like applicants coming in and we're like, oh my God, I'm gonna get back to you. I don't want to lose this applicant looks really good. And I think, guys, that's what happens a lot when we feel like we're ghosted. It's because the applicant actually feels like they're ghosted first. Or they're miserable. They're trying to apply and they're not just applying to you. They're also applying to many other people. And it really comes down to the first person who responds back to me and I feel good about it wins, or it will keep my attention to keep going down that funnel or through that process. So you guys, I want you to keep that in mind as we're going through this. So if you front load it and you do this automation of emails, you already know what your steps are. It's going to be brilliant. Now, Jen, I want to tell you, when we first started this years ago, when I first started helping people, we used to talk about, and there's my dog, we used to talk about using canned responses in Gmail, which I know a lot of you guys actually are doing right now, and that's fantastic. But the problem is you actually need to be at your desktop. And you also are sending those canned responses, but it's not attached to the actual applicant. So what Jen is showing you is, can you actually show us that part where you move them from like phase 1 to phase 2 and how that gets triggered? I think that would be really cool.
Absolutely. So let's
Yeah.
visit our candidates page and let's go to one of our candidates here. And where those work stages actually come into play on your candidates is right here on these buttons. You're either going to reject the candidate or you're deciding to move them forward.
Uh-huh.
If you go with advanced to move forward, now these are the stages that you have built in your workflows. So you build them in your workflow templates, then that's what you have to choose from here on the candidate profile when you're advancing or rejecting.
So
So,
that number one screen that you were just showing us, because I want to
right.
really, really break this down. It was like what you were just showing us was like, hey, call for the phone interview, because that was the phase 1 of what you had set up for this play account that we're using right now, right?
That's right. So if I move this candidate to screen, I've elected to remind myself of a couple of items here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually sending a questionnaire that I have built in my templates to this candidate,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm making a task for myself here to book that phone screen. So I'm creating a reminder that's going to live on this candidate profile and up in my toolbar so that I know I have this task to perform. So
That's
for example,
cool.
I can give myself a due date, I confirm that status change, and now this candidate is in the screen stage. And I know that. If I were to move to, say, the next stage, video interview, for instance,
Yeah.
I can then assign myself a task to send my video interview to this candidate.
Uh-huh.
And with the proper integration, if I had an account with one of our partners to do video interviewing, such as Wedge or Spark Hire or any of the others, then I can go ahead and have an automated email affiliated with that product sent to the candidate at this stage as well.
Wow. That's amazing. So it basically takes out all of the thinking that you have to do in how to do it, and the whole like, oh, I have to write this on my to-do list to follow up because it's actually creating it for you. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So you're going to trigger these actions simply by changing the status of your candidates. And that way, any communication you send out is going to go to candidates. You don't have to remember to go create an email, manually type that. It's just going to go out and it's going to come across personalized. And you can see on the right-hand side here, I have these tasks assigned to myself. You can see they're living on the candidate profile. I can mark them complete once I've done those items. And I can see all of my tasks up here in this top toolbar across all of the account, can see all tasks for any candidates that I need to follow up on.
That's beautiful. And now I want to compare and contrast this because I know myself from hiring, and I know from helping my clients from hiring, like being able to come into this dashboard and see exactly where you are on each one of your candidates is like, it's visually appealing. It's not mind blowing, it's mind calming, right? As opposed to being in your email where you have emails from, clients wanting to book and sitters asking you questions, and then maybe a jump consulting email and like all kinds of different emails in there. And then you've got this one, and you have to almost keep track of your applicants and what you've said to them and how you've said it. And right here, what it allows you to do is just completely go through it. We didn't plan on this, but I want to jump over to, and I'm going to post this on the Jump Consulting page, you guys. I know we're streaming in a bunch of different places right now, but we are right here. I actually have created, and I can actually share my screen. Pop open another window, and I actually created a entire blog about this, and I have a video on the phases that you actually can copy too, in addition to today or in addition to watching this. There's actually a couple of videos on this blog. I want you guys to use it and check it out. Now, I also want to take a moment here to address Alexa. Alexa actually just said she wishes she could afford Jazz HR. So Alexa, I totally get it, but here's what I want you to think about. Two things. Number one, Jen and her team are so dang cool to me that their lowest plan, I think, is like $40, which I mean is like 2 pet sits. And the plan that a lot of people get is around $100 a month, and that's with $100 off because they're so cool. Now, I don't want to go into sales mode here by any means, but what I want to say to you is that if you could easily go through a hiring funnel and get that new person on board, I want you to think about how much is that new person worth to you, Alexa. When my old business, that new person was worth $40. I'm sorry, I'm trying to like control this and do it. It was worth $40,000 of revenue, one new person working on my team. Like that's how much that they could take care of for my business in one year, okay? And then you also think about, wow, there's all these different emails coming into your email right now, and you're trying to go through the steps and all that time it takes you. I just rhetorically want to ask you, how much is your time worth per hour? If I wanted to buy you for 1 hour, how much is your time worth? And I'm willing to bet that it's more than $40 an hour. So just kind of think about that because it's a trade-off, you guys, and what you can get and how fast you can do it. It really helps you streamline because, we're all in this phase. A lot of people are in this phase of being a solopreneur and they're trying to go to a staff. And it's hard because you are wearing every single hat. You are doing 14, 16-hour days. You aren't sleeping because you're worried all the time at night. You're trying to, be like go through drive-through and get food because you can't even get home and hang out with your own dogs. And then you're worried and stressed about money because you're trying to figure out if it's all going to happen. And guys, the only way that you can actually streamline or scale this is you can actually take it and with the click of a button, move people through because we don't want to miss that next amazing person. You are actually competing now with all the other people in your area because guess what? Everyone's business is closed down. And there's this volatility that's happening and almost everyone is hiring right now. So you don't want to lose out on the next most amazing person to someone else. Now, I'm so sorry I had to go on that tangent there because it was really, really important. Jen, we also got another question. And Alexa said true value over cost. It really is because it might feel like a cost, but it's like an investment. It's if we went to Vegas, girl, and I said, yo, put $40 down on the table, you'll get $40,000 back. Yeah, here's like $40, right? And Jan actually has a question too, Jen, that I'm going to throw over to you, even though you're client success, I know that you've probably gotten this before,
Sure.
but why jazz over hierology? And I've gotten this one a long time ago too. And I know off the bat that jazz just has so many more integrations and it has so many more features, but I'm going to throw it over to you.
Yeah, really, really from a high level. I mean, we're just a really user-friendly platform to use. The amount of integrations that we have with providers that are meant to make your life easier if you're already using those is almost endless at this point. It's just growing by the day. In Jazz, you have unlimited users that can join you if you have other people helping you with recruiting, other people in your team. If you have the Plus plan, which most of Bella's clients do have the Plus plan with us, then you have unlimited jobs to post in Jazz HR. We syndicate to over 20 different job boards.
Yeah.
We just have so many great tools, so user friendly. Really can't say enough. And if you want to reach out to our sales team and request a demo, they're happy to do that for you, walk you through the whole platform and make sure you feel comfortable. And then our team is going to train you how to use it. So you can be confident in having some great support and great education as well.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and it's so funny because I did not mean to like turn this in and I'm throwing you for a loop, but like these are just questions coming in and I want to make sure that we address them because they're very valid. So first off, down here, if you just go to jumpconsulting.net/jazzhr and you fill in that form, Abby will probably contact you by definitely by the end of the day. She's so fast. And Abby knows our whole industry because she's helped hundreds of pet sitters and dog walkers already. Okay. So Abby's the one to talk to and she can really kind of like go through the actual individual you. Jen, you're so welcome. Jen says thank you. The other thing that Alexa asked, and normally I just kind of breeze over this, but this is important. And she says, can they offer a promo pricing? Here's the thing, Alexa. I would say two things to this. Number one, they might, if you want to pay the full $200 a month, and then they could do the tiers. But what they just did is they literally gave 150% off already for my people. So I think that's pretty cool. And what they also did too is I gave them a hiring ad so that when you guys get into this system, they don't do this for other people. When you get into the system, you don't have to figure out, shoot, so what should I write here? How do I attract the right applicant? And then when you get to the knockout questions, you're like, well, what questions should I put? And is it knockout question or is this an application? And we actually talked about knockout questions in the first video. So if you go to the video tab, but what I'm trying to say is that there's so much extra awesomeness that you get just for being in my crew that it's probably better than the tier pricing. So guys, honestly, go to the site. Abby is the nicest, most helpful person. And you know what else I like about her too is she's not long-winded. She's very direct.
She's speedy.
She's a lot more direct than I am. I like to talk. Anyways, getting back to our regularly scheduled program. Where were we? I don't even remember. But keep the questions coming, you guys, because that's what we're here for. And I'm telling you, I can show you so many people that have had such a success because it literally, and that's why I've hitched my wagon to them because it helps. I'm in the business of helping you scale your company. That's my goal. Okay. And I'm also of the mindset of work smarter, not harder. And work on a system as possible. So that's why this all plays in. All right. We started on this, but let's talk a little bit more about integrations. What the heck is an integration? Why should I care? And how does it help me? And are they all do I have to pay for all of them or are they free?
So that's a great question. Integrations really, it just means that two different softwares can talk to one another and really work, in conjunction with one another. So it's going to make your life easier. You don't have several different places to go and log in and out of and so forth. Now, there's numerous integrations with Jazz HR. A lot of them are wonderful tech partners that will run background checks for you, send out personality assessments. Maybe you would like to send a video interview. Now, those, of course, do require you to have an account with them, in which case, they're not free, but they're pretty cost effective, especially if that's something that would be of service to you. And they integrate right into Jazz. Now,
Yeah.
we do have some wonderful free integrations that I definitely want to make sure you're aware of today, because if you're not taking advantage, you should be. Again, they're free. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. I want to make sure that you are fully aware of these here. The first one being the fact that you can integrate your calendar. You probably already have an Outlook calendar or a Google calendar, and you definitely want to have it integrated in your account. You simply go to your profile, and from there, you just make sure that it is connected right here in your personal integrations. And then from there, when we're on your candidate profile, you can actually go ahead and schedule your candidate interviews and have them appear right on your calendar. So for instance here, we can see that I have scheduled an interview with Gloria here tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. So this is both in Jazz HR and it's on my Google Calendar. So I'm going to get a reminder. I have my interview guide attached here. This is simply my list of questions, so I can put notes there. I can make sure I'm asking everyone the same questions. So really, really handy. Again, you're just looking at your calendar through the lens of Jazz HR. It's not a different calendar, just works seamlessly. Now, another way to really automate is to allow your candidates to self-schedule, right? So you want to eliminate that time of having the back and forth. Let's say you really like Gloria and you want to schedule a phone interview. Maybe you send her an email. Hey, Gloria, when is a good time to talk? She replies back to you. That time has now passed. And now you say, oh, geez, well, what about tomorrow at such and such time? She replies. Meanwhile, she might be working, but she might be a quality candidate to work for you on evenings and weekends. How empowering do you think it would be to give that person your calendar link that doesn't show her what's on your calendar, but rather just shows the times that you have available and empower to go ahead and just schedule, have it land on your calendar, and you're good to go. Now that can be done through our partner here, Calendly. Calendly, and I'm sharing my screen with you right now of what this looks like. It's a free appointment scheduling tool. Now they do have some different options here. Notice the accounts with more bells and whistles cost a couple of bucks, but you could get a free basic account right here.
A lot of pet centers use this already. Yeah.
Absolutely. You sign up, you tell it to look at your calendar so that you can show your availability. And then essentially what your candidates are going to see when you send them your Calendly link is going to look a little something like this. So they'll see times to choose from, and then they're just going to see what you have available that day. They're not going to actually see what's on your calendar. They can pick a day. It's going to plop right on your calendar, and it's going to show in Jazz HR that they've scheduled a meeting with you. Now you've just eliminated all the back and forth, and you're moving that ball forward. Because again, you want this process to be fast, just like Bella said, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I love that because so many people already do use Calendly. But guys, what's the number one thing that we're doing with this, right? At least this is what I used to do. I gotta sign in, I get my link for it, then I gotta get my link and I gotta paste it over here. And if I'm trying to do that on my phone, like forget that, because it's just that there's too much stuff going on. So I'm just gonna wait until I get home from the end of my pet sits today to be able to send that email, because it's either saved in my email templates in Google for canned responses, or I have to go get. Oh my God, like I'm stressing myself out right now, you guys, just thinking about it.
Absolutely.
So from phase 1 to 2 and it's already in there, it's preloaded, it's a no-brainer. Go on, Jen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was just going to demonstrate that fact. So maybe if I have my Calendly account integrated, which I do, and maybe I have that affiliated with this specific workflow stage called interview, you can see that I'm automating now an email using the template that I created, an invitation to phone screen. It's going to contain my Calendly link for Gloria to go ahead and schedule. And I can choose what type of event type I give her. If I had multiples, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an interview guide if I want to attach it. And you could see just how simple that is here for me to go ahead and do. It's just that easy. All I'm doing is changing these candidate statuses. That's the main thing. It is going to require that of you to make the conscious choice of advancing the candidate or rejecting them, but you can set up all the automation that comes as a result of you choosing that particular stage.
Yeah. So I wanna drag this out a little bit more, massage this out. Jan says, I don't know anything about Calendly because she uses her calendar in Time to Pet because she's already looking at it. So Time to Pet is one of the popular pet sitting softwares, and I want to like kind of expand your brain a little bit here on this, and anyone else who's listening, because I say that a lot of pet sitters and dog walkers use this, because I'm talking about people in the mastermind. I'm talking about people in Better Marketing with Bella, the ones that like work really close with me. But here's the thing, Jen. You're using the time to pet, but the problem that actually is creating that you might not be aware of, and not just you but others, is that when you're looking at your time to pet schedule, right? First of all, you have to have this up. Then you're asking these other people, hey, are you available this time or this time or this time? And then like Jen was just saying, what happens is that time either expires or you're still waiting to hear back from them. So you're like, oh my God, when are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? And when it's an interview, it's even more worse, because what happens is you get ghosted. And Jan, you mentioned here that, yeah, you do get ghosted, right? And so here's why. Like, when you go show up someplace for an interview, or you have them come to you for an interview, and you don't have a calendar block where it's literally like a half hour back to back for like 4 hours. So you have like 8 slots, a 4-hour time span. You just go sit down at Starbucks and you wait for them to come and see you. That's what a lot of people do, right? Time to pet, it's so much back and forth, and it's stressful, not only for you but for them, and then not knowing when they're gonna, as opposed to, here you go, figure it out, whatever they come back, you've already kind of approved all of it. You know what I mean? So it really helps streamline that, so that you're not wasting your time. Because let me tell you, dating, aka interviewing, is depressing. It's depressing. It's depressing for the interviewer and for the interviewee. They're wondering, are they good enough? You're wondering, are they good enough? Are they going to show up? All of this stuff. And what happens, and this is something really important, Jen, that I want to mention and get your thoughts on too, is that having a process like this, if I came at you this way, Jen, and I wanted you to come on board with me, I'm pretty sure you would kind of be impressed. Because
absolutely,
the first thing you're probably wondering is, I heard that they didn't do well over COVID, or did your business go down during COVID? Are you going to be able to pay my paycheck, or am I not going to get paid? And when you're actually having a hiring process that is like almost corporate, like on the ball, like, whoa, people automatically come into your company not thinking, it's just dog walking. They come in thinking like, dude, I better come with my A game. Am I right, Jen?
That's right. It sets a precedent. It sets the tone for you really having a professional business and holding them accountable. They've now made a commitment to you. It's on the schedule. It's booked. Are they going to show? Hopefully, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a whole nother level. Jazz HR used that link for me to interview with the company a year and a half ago. So I was very impressed by that. I was very empowered. I was able to schedule my interview while I was working elsewhere, and really it just keeps everything moving so much faster. Bella, I did want to point out a couple of key metrics that I had learned very recently about hiring speed. So according to Glassdoor economic research, it currently takes about 23 days in the United States for an average hiring process. Okay.
Oh.
Now, 3 weeks, that might be fast for some corporate companies. I think in this nature, that's probably a little slow. For government workers, it takes like almost 54 days. That process moves forever. But one thing really important is restaurant, bars, retail jobs. The average turnaround time for those are 10 and a half days. So you might be competing with those jobs. If someone's
competing, guys.
Yes, if someone's looking for a part-time job and looking for something to do on evenings and weekends, that bar or restaurant might get back to your candidate a lot faster than you will, because they're trying to hire now. They're trying to hire yesterday. So you want to keep that ball rolling, because there's other people that are moving at the speed of lightning, and you're competing with them. You want to do the same.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's such a good statistic about, the 24 days. Oh my God. Or 10 days, even 10 days, because that is who we're competing with. We're a blue collar job, you guys. We're a blue collar job. And although we would love people to be with us for a lifetime, and I know a lot of you have done a really great job of that, we need to be able to hire quick. Because I want you to think about for a minute. I want you to dream with me for a minute. If you had a hiring process down so well that you had the ability to test it, that you could predict beyond a reasonable doubt that I could have a new person hired and ready to go, hired within a week and ready to go within 2 weeks, would that now empower you a little bit more to make your team exactly who you want instead of holding on to those people so that you're almost like held hostage in your own business by bad attitudes or people not getting back to you? How empowered would you feel? This is all a part of it, you guys. And I'm telling you right now that it is very volatile. I am known for being ahead of the curve. Okay. And 1 month from now, when everyone starts getting off of $600 a week extra unemployment, shit's gonna hit the fan. Can I say that? It's gonna hit the fan. And right now, you guys have to be ready for it. Okay. Please. We have another comment coming in. When she was working with Hierology, the client care specialists were not super helpful, so I felt like I didn't use everything that they had to offer. How closely do the Jazz HR people work with their clients to make sure that they're utilizing everything and paying for? Oh my God, Jen, I love this question. I'm going to answer it, and I'm going to throw it over to Jen. So here's the thing, Jen. First of all, I've been working with this company for almost 2 years. Okay. I've personally hired a nanny off of it. I've hired a designer off of it. I've hired an assistant off of it. I've hired a lot of like anytime I need someone, I put it in that. Okay. First of all. Second of all, I get exactly what you're saying because so many of us have software technologies, heck, even our phone, that we don't actually use to the fullest capability. And one of the things that I love is there's two things, and I'm sure I love that Jazz doesn't mind this about me because I'm a very big mama bear over my clients. So if my clients aren't happy, Jazz hears from me, but they actually don't really hear from me. Jazz has supported our a lot of the things that we do, whether you guys realize this or not. But the thing is that Jen and her team are here to make sure that you do like it. They actually want to keep you as a customer. Okay. I asked Jazz if they would get on 4 videos with me and do this. Do you have any idea? They had to create what we call a sandbox account. They had to create a fake account. They had to populate fake resumes. They had to populate fake phases. They had to populate all this fake stuff just so that we could show you this stuff. If that doesn't tell you how much they're willing to work, like, I don't get it. Like, I love it. And then you, me, Abby, someone else in your company, I don't even remember what his title was. We all had a bunch of calls last month to iron out all 4 of these videos and the bullet points that I came up with. And you're like, well, yeah, we can show this. No, Bella, you're wrong on that, but we can do this. They were just very amazing to just to be there, guys. And the thing is that normally if you were just coming in off the street, the extra care and handholding that you get, not to say that Jazz it doesn't like their customers or whatever, but they're especially more careful with the people that come through as the pet sitters and dog walkers through my crew. I know that on one of the plans, I think you guys actually offered an additional 1 hour training that you normally wouldn't to the public, but added that in. And that goes without saying because I've never heard you ever turn down any of my clients, which is what I love about it and why I also leave it up to you to go in and help show them. So I'm sorry, I got a little passionate there, but I'm very passionate about you guys. Jen, as the client success person, what do you have to say about that?
I think that's great. Yes. I definitely want to point out that Jazz, we're known for our level of support with our customers. You could visit any public review site like Software Advice, G2 Crowd, Capterra, places like that, and you're going to see rave reviews of us because of our support team. We really do want to see people succeed. Also, to let you know, if you sign up with Jazz, if you go with our Plus plan or Pro plan, the top 2 plans that we have to offer.
There's 3 plans, guys: Hero, Plus, and Pro.
That's correct. Yes. So Hero it's a little more basic. You could use it. You're not going to need much help. It's very much sort of self-service, but we still have wonderful video walkthroughs and tutorials to take you through. But if you sign up for Plus, we're going to give you 2 onboarding calls with our success team. I'm one of those people, so you could get your call with me potentially. Yeah. And we take up to an hour if that's what you book with us using that Calendly link that I showed you. And we make sure we walk you through the platform, make sure you understand how to put those email templates through, make sure you know how to post a job, and all these things that you really need to know how to do. So we're going to enable you. We empower you. We have a million tools in place. So I really can't say enough about how confident you should feel if you join us.
Yeah, I've even heard one time, because I had a client that got a ad kicked back to them, like it wouldn't like go through. And so someone on your team had come back and like coached and walked him through from like the beginning to the end of it and made sure that it got through, even contacted your contacts over at Indeed and was like, why is Indeed kicking this out? Like we need to push this through for our client, which happened to be my client. And I was so impressed by that. So it's not just like, a faceless software company where you submit a support ticket and wait 48 hours and hopefully get a response back. Like this is the type of person that you get to hang out with. And
you are going to submit a support
cat on her lap.
Yes, absolutely. No, it does start with you sending a support ticket, but you're going to get a quick turnaround time and you're going to get just amazing service. And can't say enough about those people. Our support people definitely check out the jobs, like Bella said, provide you with best practices if needed, and even reach out to the job boards if they have a problem with the post you're trying to syndicate. So absolutely. Can't say enough.
Awesome. So you guys, I want to encourage you as we kind of close this up here, because this did go a little bit over, but you had questions and we wanted to answer them. So Jen, I hope I haven't messed you up for another appointment.
You're fine.
Guys, I want you to know that if you go to the Jump Consulting Facebook page and you just click videos, it's on the far left side if you're on desktop. If you're on mobile, it's up at the top. Just click videos and you're going to see a training series, a hiring training series with Jazz HR. You're going to see Jen and I the past 2 weeks talking about things like knockout questions. And what did we talk about last week? We've talked about so much stuff. I forget.
We've talked about applications and knockout questions. We've talked about job descriptions, best practices, ways to compete, stay competitive with attracting the best candidates. Yeah.
And so we have all of that stuff coming up. And then next week we have another one coming up for you too. So I really encourage you to just kind of stay along with us. It really, guys, is not meant to sit here and sell it to you, okay? Because I believe in just kind of showing you the education and showing you that hiring does not have to be depressing. Hiring does not have to be like you reinventing the wheel every single time you need a new person. Hiring actually should be one of the most empowering things that you ever do in your business, because if it breaks my heart when I talk to some people that are just like, well, I have this person on the team and they're like a cancer and they're just bringing everybody down. I was like, fire them. Let them go. Well, I can't because I don't have anybody else. Well, guys, let's solve that problem once and for all. Because if you never, ever had a problem with getting the right kind of candidate, what kind of business could you have? And that's the question I want to leave you guys with today. I want you to think about that. I want you to ponder that. I want you to message me. I am available everywhere, all over the interwebs. You know that. But I also want you guys, if you're serious or if you want to kick the tires or figure it out, go ahead and go below to jumpconsulting.net/jazzhr. Jen, did we miss anything today? I don't want to just filibuster this and go, but
I don't think we have. We talked about the importance of keeping that ball rolling, and that's what we can help you do here.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. And Jen, thank you for your time. And it was nice to meet your kitty cat today.
Yes.
All right. Bye, you guys.